Honorable Biwott started his career in Eldoret as an information officer. He later joined the public service as a district officer, went to Meru, and later went to Minister of Agriculture as a personal assistant to the late Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Bruce Mackenzie. He later joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to work with the Honorable Daniel Arap Moi, who was then Vice President, and he took up positions later as Minister of State, Minister for Regional Development, Science and Technology, Minister for Energy, Minister for East Africa and Regional Cooperation, Minister of Trade and Industry, Tourism and East Africa Cooperation, and many, many others. So the next set of speakers who will speak will be coming here to also tell us about their time with the late Honorable Biwott. So I'll call upon Honorable Ambassador Francis Muthaura, who is the chairman of the LAPSET Authority and former head of public service and secretary to the cabinet. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Biwott and the family, Your Excellency, former President of Tanzania, Jakaya Kikwete, distinguished mourners and friends of Biwott. I really am privileged, and I thank the organizers of the family for giving me this opportunity to say something about my friend, Mr. Biwott. I got to know Mr. Biwott, I think, before a lot of you people. I met him when I was in Form 2, 1964. And it's quite a bit. His wife, at that time we were calling her Mrs. Kiprono Biwott. That was the official name at that time. She was my teacher. She taught me history. And Form 3 and Form 4. And we did very well. And I think she shaped my future career. When Biwott was invited as a DO to come to address us, the school actually, during the time we are calling Career Week, he was talking to us as to how we can join the public service at that age. And really gave me a lasting impression. He was very dignified, very analytical in thinking, and he presented himself in the county. At that time it was the division, but now it's sub-county or the district, as a public administrator of higher caliber than the white district officers we are used to. So from that time, I thought probably this is the job I should do. And because, becoming a district officer at that time, you are given a Land Rover and you had the Askaris to demonstrate your power. And they really executed that with a lot of authority. He got to really organize, the community leadership, the development programs that were necessary to pull us from the colonial background. And actually today, that district is one of the most developed districts in Kenya. And I can say that without any fear of contradiction. Mrs. Biwott, he took over from our Indian teacher, who was called Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma used to give us questions and answers. So we used to do a lot of memorizing. History we were memorizing. So when she came, our approach was different. And she really was challenging us to think broadly, rather than just memorize. And eventually, I think we became good thinkers, and we succeeded. So I thank you very much, Madam, and so you are part of my history. Apart from, the various encounters we had with Mr. Biwott in the public service, I think the most important, even before that, I would like to say that while I was in the university, I did internship in the office of the DO where Mr. Biwott was working, because he didn't give an impression, and I wanted to be a DO like him. Later on, of course, we joined the public service. We were interacting in various occasions. But the most important interaction is at the East African community, where Biwott was the minister for East African community representing Kenya, and Jakaya Kikwete, who is here, was the minister for foreign affairs representing Tanzania. Then there was Mr. Kategaya, who was deputy prime minister of Uganda, representing Uganda, and occasionally was being represented by Mrs. Rebecca Kandaga. And these are really great people. They are great people because without them, there would be no East African community today. They are the people who are entrusted with the responsibility of drafting the treaty which institutionalized the East African community. And they did it very efficiently. I think it was a bit too efficient. And I think Mr. Biwott brought a bit of magic because he made the other ministers his friends. And I think the vice versa. They were all friends. They became friends. And when people are working like friends, actually there is no problem you cannot solve. Most problems are solvable. And we got really I got myself, because I was at the center and the facilitator, I got to learn a lot from these very good Kenyans. The three countries and chosen their best of the ministers. The best, the people who are in direct contact with the president, and who could always, get the answer they wanted. Honorable Biwott give us some support, because we didn't have a lot of money in the community, and the driving around East Africa is not easy, you know that. The only thing we could do is to do it by air. Scheduled flights are very, very inconvenient because you have to wait for them. Honorable Biwott offered his private plane to take us around to consult with the presidents, Dar es Salaam, Kampala, Nairobi, or wherever the president is, with an Eldoret, you will take us there at no cost. So we really thank you very much for that, Madam, because, to give that type of support and the enduring friendships. I am sure that's why Honorable Kikwete is here. Those enduring friendships actually make a difference. That's what makes the community work. And for sure, Biwott was a truly East African. Somebody said here he didn't see the tribal divide, but he was a true East African. And he could do anything to make sure that East Africa worked. So at least I thought I needed to say that, because there's no record in its tribute accrediting him for negotiating and concluding the treaty for East African community. So With those few remarks, I was ready to convey my family and my personal, most sincere sympathy and condolences to the family. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, Ambassador Muthaura.